Get my Zoom meeting all set up. Have some snacks over here. Let's see. I have the leopard jumpsuit, the leopard boots. What am I missing? Oh, can't forget finishing touch for my costume. 100% gonna win best costume in my Zoom meeting today. Alrighty, I think we're ready. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Wait a second, this isn't the Zoom meeting for my Tiger King fan club. Oh, it's library video day. Sorry, you guys, got my days a little mixed up. Give me 2 seconds and we'll be right back with some more library fun. That's better. Welcome to Monday Musings with me, the marvelous Miss Maggie. Before we begin, I hope that you, your family, friends, and everyone are staying indoors and more importantly, staying safe and healthy during this time. Believe me, you are all not far from our thoughts here at the Grafton Midview Public Library, and we all miss you very dearly. But we are doing everything we can to best serve you all during this time. So, with all that being said, let's get on to the book review. I'm sure that a lot of you are deep in the throes of quarantining, which makes this the perfect time to catch up on your to-be-read list and maybe even add a title or two to it. So I know that my Tiger King quip intro was, a little funny way to introduce it, but the young adult fiction book that I'm going to be reviewing today has some of the same themes such as true crime, murder, and just overall crime in a small town. The title of the book that I'm going to be reviewing today is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. So the first thing I'm going to do in reviewing this book is reading the summary that is on the inside book jacket cover. So this is what it says. Everyone in Fairview knows the story. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend Sal Singh, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. But she can't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. She knew Sal when she was a child, and he was always so kind to her. How could he possibly have been a killer? Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project, at first just to cast doubt on the original investigation. But soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent, and the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. This is the story of an investigation turned obsession, full of twists and turns with an ending you'll never expect. And I'm also going to read to you, this is an excerpt from the book on the back, and I just think it gives like a very good idea of what this book is all about. When you ask people what happened to Andy Bell, they'll tell you without hesitation. She was murdered by Salil Singh. No, allegedly. No, might have. No, probably. No, most likely. He did it, they say. Sal killed Andy, but I'm just not so sure. Okay, so I loved this book for so many different reasons. As I mentioned, it's a young adult fiction novel, so the age range begins at around 14, but I'm 23 and I loved the book for so many reasons. For one, I'm a huge fan of true crime. I usually can't get through my Monday mornings without listening to my favorite true crime podcast. And this book had a lot of the same themes that you see in a lot of true crime stories. The supposed open and shut case that shows not only the flaws of law enforcement, but also the media and in the townspeople themselves. So that was a really cool part of it. Another thing was the way that the story was presented. This book is not entirely dialogue or description. As we mentioned, this book is based off of Pip, who is the main character, her senior capstone project. Now, a senior capstone project is basically a project that all seniors have to complete in some schools. That's a culmination of all that they've learned in high school and also gives a direct focus into what they want to study, which in Pip's case is journalism. As someone who I just finished actually a senior capstone internship, let me tell you, you record everything, you document every single thing that you do, and this book is no different. So parts of the story, it's not just, like I said, dialogue or description. they're actually like transcripts that are included in the book between Pip and the person that she's interviewing. Or it'll be her student log for that day. So like everything that she has completed for that day, whether that be an interview, a clue that she found, a conversation she had with a suspect, you know, just all of these different elements. And to me, that made the book a page turner, because you had some of these like, you know, longer, like a little more dense, you know, pieces of dialogue and description. But then you also had these student logs that just, like I said, made it a real page turner. And it just shows like the many different dynamics and perspectives in which the story is being conveyed to the reader, which I thought was so cool. I actually, the night that I finished this, I had 100 pages. It was about 11 o'clock at night. I had to work the next day. And I was like, okay, I'll just read like, you know, 10, I'll read another chapter. Like, it's fine. I ended up being up until about 12:30 because I was like, I have to finish this book. Like, I have to know what happens. And let me tell you, it does not disappoint. Another thing that I loved about this story is that there's no perfect character. That is what I think is really cool, because so often it's like, you know, this person's the good guy, this person's the good guy. With this, the lines are very blurred. And also just like the variety of characters that we have. We have Pip, who's obviously like a female protagonist, which is very rare to see sometimes in fiction. So I love that. And there are also, you know, characters in her step family and also some of her friends that come from different, you know, age, race, sexual orientation, and just all of these different factors, which I thought was really, really cool, especially since this is Holly Jackson's first ever novel. The fact that she was able to encompass all of that, I thought was really, really cool. Finally, the ending is super twisted. I remember I was on the last like 20 or so pages and they were wrapping some parts of the mystery up. But then at the same time, I was like, wait, like that's it? That's the whole ending? I still have so many questions. Then the real ending happened and I was like, no way. Like I can't even with this ending. I'm obviously not going to give you any spoilers, but let me tell you, twisted. It leaves you begging for more, which is great because A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is actually the first book in a new series that's also entitled A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So the second book in this series is due to be released on April 30th. So while it is not released yet, there is a description available on Amazon, which is right here, which I'm going to read for you right now. Pip Fitzamobi is not a detective anymore. With the help of Ravi Singh, she released a true crime podcast about the murder case they solved together last year. The podcast has gone viral, yet Pip insists her investigating days are behind her. But she will have to break that promise when someone she knows goes missing. Jamie Reynolds has disappeared, but the police won't do anything about it. And if they won't look for Jamie, then Pip will, uncovering more of her town's dark secrets along the way. And this time, everyone is listening. But will she find him before it's too late? Okay, so you all know that I'm going to be reading the second book for so many different reasons. For the first reason, I loved the first book so much. So the fact that they're coming out with a second one relatively soon is making me so excited. Second of all, there is a true crime podcast in this book. Like I already said it, I can't get through my Monday mornings without my favorite true crime podcast. So I am beyond excited for this book. Like I said, it's not released until April 30th. So hopefully that gives you time to get a hold of the first book, which again, I'm going to hold up for you guys. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. And if you look here, I put my staff pick sticker on it. Staff picks are spread throughout the library. There's some in adult fiction, some in young adult fiction, some in children's, you know, they're everywhere. Obviously you can't get into the library right now, but when we open back up, if you see a sticker like this, it means that a staff member saw it, they read it, they loved it, and they know that you would love it too. So just a little insider scoop for you in case you didn't know. So that is all for Monday Musings with me, the marvelous Miss Maggie. Again, we all miss you so much at the Grafton Midview Public Library, but we are doing everything we can to provide you with services and activities in a virtual capacity, and we really hope that you're enjoying them. Again, I hope more than anything that you guys are remaining happy and healthy during this time, and that we can just serve you in any way that we possibly can despite the distance. So that is all for today, and I will see you all next Monday. Bye, everyone.